producing the void. In the event of non-accidental injuries, including suicide, self-mutilation, etc., I agree that the company has acted properly in accordance with relevant laws and regulations, and will not sue the company, bringing excessive demands, take drastic actions that would damage the company's reputation, or cause trouble that would hurt normal operations. From Foxconn's required anti-suicide clause for employees. It's easy to see the abyss of nothingness that is being sold to us as a first-world problem. Yet the fact that nearly a quarter of Earth's population regularly uses Facebook indicates the depth of its pervasiveness. Our daily lives, now more than ever, the fabric of our social lives, are soaked in blood. While our ability to comprehend or empathize wanes, our footprint spreads exponentially. Let's start with those phones. Most of our phones are made in Shenzhen, China, and it is a city built on cell phones. 25 years ago, it was a fishing village surrounded by rice paddies. Today, it is an urban sprawl of 12 million people, observes journalist Fred Pearce. This is the home of Foxconn's now notorious sweatshops. Foxconn runs the leading technological production facilities. This is currently where most Apple and Sony products are made, BlackBerries as well in their heyday. The reason they got some news was shocking. Employees were forced to sign an anti-suicide clause. According to Wikipedia's numbers, up till 2013, at least 24 workers had killed themselves. The wretched working conditions, exposure to toxic chemicals, monotony of industrialized production, and overall depression being the clear common causes. The most common method of suicide was jumping from the rooftops of the factories and the corporate housing, if we can use the term that liberally. So the response of the corporation? Install netting around the rooftops to catch jumping workers. Foxconn, for many living beings, sounds like hell. The marketers promote the myth throughout civilization that you have a choice. And to some degree it is true. You cannot purchase a smartphone. The catch is that you are expected to. Consumers laud this as a choice. You lose your right to complain once you bought in. This is the litmus test for compliance in the void. The presumptions here, however, are disgustingly off. The presumption carried on is that people go to sweatshops because they want jobs. This may be true for some, but there's a long-standing colonial and imperial legacy that is endemic, predominantly though not exclusively, throughout the southern hemisphere, whereby subsistence societies live in areas that would otherwise be useful for, let's say, the production of rare earth metals. In some places, it's just easier to demolish any access to subsistence just to build factories and create a workforce. If you can no longer harvest from the land directly, then you need to buy food. But back to the rare earth minerals example. Believe me, there are many options. Your phone would not exist without them. Here in Shenzhen, tantalum is used to help make phone batteries lighter and last longer. The tantalum, however, comes from the Congo, where forests are cleared by military leaders, often not on the state's side, to build what can only be considered shanty mining villages. And who works there? Prisoners, those caught in the crossfire, and quite often, children. And these places are horrifically dangerous. But for your phone to be lightweight and last longer off the charger, a constant and ongoing civil war will find bodies to fill, dig, and exhume those mines. Then those materials are processed and assembled by overworked and tired hands in China before being sold to you. And while this new phone has a separate light to notify you when something is happening on your Facebook newsfeed, every part of that contraption was possibly the worst part of another dozen people's lives. And this goes on for every single piece of technology that you have in your pocket. Never mind that those metals are both rare and irreplaceable, or that they are on the verge of non-existence, or that they and their processing are absolutely toxic. We are killing the earth, poisoning waterways, driving species to extinction, forcing labor, keeping sweatshops open and on for a device that allows nearly half of the Earth's population to remain constantly in contact without ever just being there. And this is how civilization ends, consumed by an uncaring and unfeeling impulse to reach out to those who are strangers surrounding us. Lest you think the problem is simply capitalism, those operating the mines, work camps, poppy fields, and monocropped farms are quite often socialist revolutionaries. No matter who is in control, this is the point that modernity has gotten us into. It is a quagmire of drifting along on limited resources with a sense of infinite wants and no fulfillment. And it is here that our lives, the lives of all beings on this planet and the earth itself, are bound. And as we sheepishly reload our news feed, this is the world that is passing us by. It's not okay. We're not okay. The problems that surround us, the emptiness of modernity, the thing that has us looking at screens instead of into eyes is a distraction. It is life automated. As you shudder away from that frightening noise, the clutter, the crowds, the moment you look up mindlessly from your phone, you are confronted with all of this. And it is too much. It is suffocating. It is an endless nothingness, a weight on the lungs, a turning in the stomach, an unidentified repulsion. The temptation is to look away. That is why we don't even have the words to address this plague, to address how the hardwired matrix became an invisible leash. We aren't confronting it, and the programmers, the domesticators of modernity, are counting on the fact that we are losing the very ability to even situate or reconcile our loss in context. They are counting on our inability to recognize the world around us, and yet this is not the world as it exists. The earth is suffering from the consequences, but it is still alive. The wildness refuses to be tamed. It refuses to succumb to the machine. Our hunter-gatherer minds and bodies know this, despite everything that we have been taught. These misdirected impulses and synapses linger amidst the confusion. That is why we still reach out in the first place. That is why these caged birds tweet. In that moment, that second when we look up, that second when we feel the crushing realness of our circumstance, we are human. We are afraid, we are scared, we are lonely. And we do have a choice. If given the chance, these realities will never be reconciled. These words might be etched forever in silicone and Rome electrical feeds so long as the power lasts. But that feeling is real. This world is real. It is our work to smash the distraction, to pull the plug, to render the machines useless. To see this world the way our bodies feel it and our minds know it, there is no other option but the annihilation of civilization. We have guides. We have instincts. We have our wildness. So before we are lost in a sea of unending, constant nothingness, to take the first step, we must first look up, breathe deep, and fight back.